Yep, everyone's in. Let's kick it off.
Great. Thank you very much. Welcome, investors. Today at Shawn Partners, we have the opportunity, exciting opportunity to present Close the Loop's U.S. business. I'll let CEO of Close the Loop, Joe Foster, make the introductions. On the line as well will be Hewlett Packard. That's very exciting to have them available. Close the Loop will speak for about 20-25 minutes. At the end, there'll be question and answers. Click the react button at the bottom of your Zoom screen there and raise your hand, and then we'll unmute you and allow you to ask a question. Joe, over to you.
Thank you very much, Larry. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate this opportunity to present Close the Loop today. We're very pleased and very honored to have Jennifer Foxworthy from HP with us today. Jennifer is the head of certified refurbishing, the licensing program for HP Renew Solutions. And maybe I'd like to just use this opportunity if Jennifer would like to introduce herself at this stage.
Hello, thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. Jennifer Foxworthy. I lead our certified refurbished licensing program here at HP under Renew Solutions.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. We're happy to have you here today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So we just move on. What we'd like to cover off today in terms of the agenda. Warwick, thank you. So today, obviously, we'd like to address the total addressable market. We're going to start talking about the differences and obviously the dynamics between the ODMs and the OEMs. And we'd like to have a big deep dive into the evolving business models and, of course, talk about HP Renew Solutions and the circularity. And then we'll finish off with the closed loop capabilities and the expansion plans. So we just move on. I'm sure you would have seen that certainly from the beginning of the presentation that we've actually changed our branding image. And what I'd like to do at this stage now is maybe to give you an introduction to our new branding rollout that took place from the 1st of July. The objective behind the brand was to really bring all the global businesses under one brand, certainly with one unified message. Therefore, all companies will be known as Close the Loop instead of the individual names that was part of the businesses for quite some time. So that's kicked off on the 1st of July, and I'd like to introduce you to our new brand rollout. A short video. We'll take place for about a minute. Thank you very much, Warwick. And as you can see, certainly our branding messaging is around collecting today and creating tomorrow. I would like to use this opportunity to also introduce you to our North American CEO, Mike Welton. who joined the business at the beginning of January this year. Some of you have already maybe met Mike through various different discussions, but Mike's been known to the business for quite some time and is very well known in the market within the OEM space and certainly within the electronic refurbishment space as well. So today, Mike will be delivering the presentation, and as we said, we're very keen to have questions and answers at the end of this presentation. So Mike, over to you. Thank you.
Joe, thanks for the introduction. As Joe mentioned, Michael Welton, I'm the North American CEO Group. Excited to be here. I'm here today to present some market conditions to everyone on the call and some various opportunities we have to close the loop. I did want to mention that the branding video we just saw, I was able to unveil that last week to all of North America, and I speak for all of them. We're very excited to move forward under one brand close loop. Thanks again, Joe. Thank you. All right, we're going to start with some market conditions. OEMs are rapidly evolving their business models towards a circular economy, accommodate global drivers of change. There's two big ways we're seeing that happen. The first one is ESG. It comes in two forms. First of all, government regulations. Various countries are now holding the OEM manufacturers responsible for their reuse metrics. Also, there's corporate responsibility going on. Most global companies are now reporting their ESG sustainable metrics back. And they're holding themselves accountable. The other changing metric that we're seeing is a new consumer behavior, where there's a demand for sustainability. The new consumer won't buy a product or service from a company unless that company is being environmentally friendly. And the other way that we're seeing a change in consumer behavior is instead of going to the market and exclusively looking for new products, they're first asking if a reuse or refurbished product is available. With those various changes that we're seeing, we are now leading, which is leading us to the rise of the refurbished machines. All right, we're going to go over some key metrics with the laptop market. 240 million laptops sold in 2023. You can see in the bottom corner, less than 10% of those laptops that were sold were refurbished, so there's a huge opportunity there. Lenovo, Dell, HP represent 60% of global laptop sales at 164 billion. Key metrics, laptops are designed to last 5-6 years. We have seen some significant advancements when it comes to cameras, memory, processing capabilities, but many of the core components of laptops have remained unchanged for many years. Printer market, 100 million printers are sold each year with 1.3 billion in consumables. It's a large market, 52 billion on the printers, 25 billion on the consumables. HP is the global player, representing 30%, followed by Xerox, Canon, and Brother. Some interesting key metrics of the 1.3 billion print consumables sold globally, only 30% are being recycled. There's a huge opportunity there. Just a metric in the EU, for every person in the EU, one printer consumable is consumed each year. I think the interesting thing about the printer market is that Close the Loop has been partnered with virtually all the players over the last 20 years. So as these OEMs look to improve their sustainability and circularity, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Close the Loop to participate with the OEM partners. Other markets, computing accessories. As the world moves towards electronics, there's going to be more opportunities for them to become more circular. Of those other computing accessories, other than printers, laptops, PCs, servers are a big item, 126 billion. Gaming equipment, 34 billion. Point of sale equipment, 29 billion. Accessories and teleconferencing rounding out at 25 billion. Very interesting, all 5 of those components, Close the Loop currently refurbishes and remarkets them all. All right, so this slide talks about ODMs and OEMs and the difference. It's a pretty interesting dynamic. The ODMs are mostly based in Taiwan and China. They're very large manufacturing companies that work for the OEMs. They do huge volumes of manufacturing, and they're built for economies of scale. The top 5 represent 85% of the total worldwide production. You can see them off to the right. The OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, they rely very heavily on these ODMs. They've gotten away from manufacturing themselves, and now the OEMs are increasingly brand solution providers, they're marketing companies, they focus on design, marketing, sales. And what's interesting about this relationship is that the OEMs no longer have the ability to manufacture or remanufacture, and the ODMs being based in China and Taiwan aren't able to be their refurbishing partners. So what that means is the OEMs, if they want to really be circular, they have to find regional partners that can help them collect, refurbish, and remarket all their consumer electronics. All right, so two different channels. You have business and consumer channels. There's difference between the two. The business channels tend to focus on high performance software compatibility. They look for durability and security. They usually refresh their laptops every 2 to 3 years. It tends to coincide with warranty or leasing agreements. Businesses look for repairability and upgradability. Consumers are very different. Consumers buy laptops with a 1-year warranty. They're sold through mainstream brick and mortar retailers or online retailers. For the average consumer, other than business, aesthetics and design is more important than performance. They usually buy a laptop, keep it for the life of the laptop, which is typically 5 to 6 years. And until recently, repairability and upgradability has not been something that's been important to the consumer. Problem with a linear model. The take, make, and dispose business model presents several challenges for the OEM. OEMs lose ownership of their brand. When they have product go into the aftermarket, they lose control, they lose the customer experience, they don't get to participate in the secondary market. This dilutes the brand experience, limits the participation through the entire product life. In terms of the environment, you have poor environmental outcomes. Producing OEM equipment creates 80% of the carbon footprint. Limiting reuse and recycling of these products has contributed to climate change and unsustainable e-waste volumes being sent to landfill. Then you have an inefficient issue with the limited OEM participation in the secondary market. Consumers and businesses aren't benefiting from the opportunity to regularly upgrade or refurbish their products to changing requirements and needs that they have. Environmental impact is pretty significant. I'm not going to go through all the statistics, but there's some pretty big numbers over there. The one that jumped out at me, the ICT industry is responsible for as much greenhouse gas as the entire airline industry, 2% of global CO2 production. And the forecast is expected to go up by 7 times to 14% by 2040. Most of that environmental impact happens at the manufacturing state. Then you also have a risk with several key components that are used in laptop production are being supplied from China. E-waste, a lot of big numbers here. I think the one that really jumps out at me is only 17.4% of global e-waste is being collected and recycled. What a huge opportunity and what a huge area for improvement for all the OEMs. There's some really big numbers over there. 41.8 million, I had to check this, million metric tons in 2014, 53.6 million metric tons in 2022, and it's predicted to go up to 74.7 million metric tons by 2030. You can just see when you look in the market, all the consumer devices, technology growing so fast, virtually no repairs on electronic equipment. You can see why e-waste continues to grow so significantly. There's some risk along with e-waste. You have hazardous materials that can be hazardous to human beings. We do have some standards going out where companies and different agencies are putting in requirements for the manufacturers to make sure they recover their electronic waste. And you can see many of the countries that are doing that, the EU members, the USA, Canada, Japan, and several others. Regulation has been really key. So a new wave of ESG and financial reporting regulation is driving change in the behavior. A couple points that I picked out there. The EU has introduced regulations that require all companies that manufacture equipment to put out accurate and comparable ESG information. In the US, the SEC is doing the same. And then for the first time, you're seeing China actually hold their manufacturing companies accountable to sustainability and ESG reporting. Right, the solution to close the loop is totally committed to is circularity. Collect, create, and resell. Working in partnership with the OEMs, we want to establish trade and programs and services that empower businesses and consumers recover value from their technology. We want to create an ecosystem and tools in conjunction with the OEMs that allows economically refurbish and repair technology. And the important part of this is in partnership with the OEM. We want to do it to their standards, trusted warranties, and great customer support. Then the resale and remarketing, again, very similar to the create. We want to partner with the OEM to make sure that it's high quality refurbishment that the OEM is willing to stand behind, represents their brand, and we want to sell only through a globally trusted network of trustworthy sales channels. I think this slide is HP Renew Solutions, Circularity in Action. I want to thank Jennifer for joining the call. And also, Jennifer, thank you for HP for being such a wonderful partner. What a great video. We're going to talk about a couple of the benefits for HP Renew Solutions. A couple of things that HP is really promoting that their businesses look to certified refurbished equipment. There's a lot of advantages to that, combining new hardware with refurbished devices without compromising quality performance. It allows their customers to stretch IT budgets and allows them to get maximum return on investment by turning in their used equipment. HP, again, is promoting their customers to buy HP certified refurbished products. This allows them to buy guaranteed good quality products in more refurbished HP standard. They come with a guaranteed warranty that's covered by HP. And as you all know, Close the Loop is an HP certified refurbished partner. Picture on the right represents our high volume laptop refurbishing location in Sizzling. Some of the Close the Loop's global refurbishing capabilities. Close the Loop is a leading refurbisher and distributor of consumer electronics with many large OEM partners. We refurbish many types of equipment, computers, printers, other consumer electronics, high volumes, new and off lease. We always have an innovative approach and follow the best and highest use hierarchy, and our extensive experience in designing and implementing go-to-market strategies for programs, products, and services. This picture here represents our facility in Kentucky that focuses on large off-lease printer refurbishing. Equipment recovery pathways. We have several recovery pathways that consumer electronics come back to us. First is retail returns. We manage the collection, production triage, refurb, and remarketing through retail returns. We handle off-lease equipment. We offer full white glove service. Gets product back to our facility once there. On behalf of the OEM, we can test, repair, refurbish. Up to the OEM, if they want to take that product back from us, they can. We can offer it in a trade-in program, or we can remarket it direct to consumer for them. Products that come back that can't be used, if they're damaged, rejected, end of life, whatever it might be. As with our zero waste to energy commitment, anything that we can't reuse, will be recycled responsibly. We have various sales channels for our products. Wholesale is a large one. We have a global reach with over 200 partners that focus on education, government, B2B, and B2C. We operate on the largest marketplaces. You can see them all there. We also are working to onboard new brands with Staples in Q2. And then a big focus for us for the remainder, Q1, Q2, the remainder of 2024 is building up our direct-to-consumer business. We want to go direct to businesses, schools, and individual consumers. We think going direct allows us to reduce cost with e-commerce marketplace fees. But the bigger advantage there is to own the relationship with the consumer. It will allow us to market additional products to them. It will allow us to sell additional services, supplies, and warranties. But I think most importantly, we could be their designated destination when they're ready to retire or replace their current equipment. And again, with all of our sales channels, Closed Loop is fully committed to delivering outstanding omnichannel experience by focusing on exceptional quality and great customer service. This is an ecosystem of our clients, partners, and providers. I think the comment I'd make on this slide is with a wide range, very impressive partners, Closed Loop really expects to capitalize on opportunities as these companies continue to move to more sustainable and circular solutions. In terms of strategic growth and expansion, we have trusted OEM partnerships for the past 10 to 20 years. With these partnerships, we've provided collections, refurb, remarketing, and recycling solutions. These OEMs will lead us to opportunities throughout the rest of the world. Specific expansion in the Americas, we're looking to expand our existing collection, refurbishing, remarketing, and recycling services into both Canada and Mexico. In the EMEA and APJ, we're looking to expand our current capabilities from collection and recycling to also include large-scale refurbishing and remarketing solutions. Mexicali facility. We've been looking to expand our overall capacity. We found that a facility in Mexico offers a lot of opportunities. First of all, the large space allows for, and strong workforce allows for increased capacity. Costs, as you can see, are on the lower right, are very impressive. Not just facility, utility expenses are significantly less. The labor costs will offer very large scale savings for us. The other thing that you have in Mexicali, which is very nice, with a population over 1 million people, right on the border between California, it's a hotbed for manufacturing and refurb talent. Our expectation is to finalize our lease in the month of July and get production ramped up for the month of October.
Thank you, Mike. Much appreciate the presentation. Just a quick comment, certainly around the HP Renew Solutions on that video. We're grateful for HP allowing us to show this video today, but part of the video was actually shot at a South Lake facility where we process the laptops that Mike spoke about, and obviously the gaming consoles and gaming accessories as well. So we're grateful to be part of that video, and certainly be grateful to be putting our name and our imagery across the world under HP. So thank you for that. So again, we certainly, sorry, Larry, we obviously back to you, please, for any questions that may come across the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. And again, if investors want to just hit the react and then raise hand button for questions, we'll just unmute your mute your line. I can start, Joe. I do have a bunch of questions, as you can imagine. Mike, I guess, Hewlett-Packard has been refurbishing computers for some time. I'm not sure how long ISP Tech's been involved with Hewlett-Packard, but I do know that HP has existing facilities, one in Andover, Massachusetts, and one in Erskine, Scotland. I think they're called Technology Renewal Centers. I'm just wondering, you know, maybe you could describe the ecosystem. Who's refurbishing? Closed loop's a partner. Are there other partners? What's your role? What's not your role? What does HP do?
Yeah. So they have many other partners. I mean, obviously HP is a very large company. Right now, we are partners, I would say, in two ways. We're working as a partner, meaning one of our main focuses the last several years has been to take product back from HP that comes through various channels. We refurbish what we can and remarket it on our own. We do have other partners that are remanufacturing partners, which means they do remanufacturing as a fee per service, and that product is always owned by HP and sent back to HP. We would be interested in potentially getting into that type of work for them in the future. The other part of the business, which is a huge focus for HP, is the certified renew. They're really pushing everything in that direction. So we're very excited to be. I believe we're the first official partner for HP Certified Renew, and with that comes many opportunities that we're just starting to realize.
And that certified renew pertains to laptops, printers, monitors, all products?
It's likely going to be all products, but they're kind of going in stages. One of the first ones that was able to get certified was all the equipment, and it goes into, I think, laptops next, and then we're going to get into printers and other equipment. There's a little bit of a setup process to get it to the certified renewed. We also have to be able to transact specific warranties that go with the product selling it as certified renewed. So it has been, somewhat of a lengthy onboarding process, and we're still doing that as we speak.
Okay. I don't see any hands up. I'll continue my line of questioning, if you don't mind, Mike.
Sure.
Mark, you've got a slide there that shows sort of volumes per month. I think 30,000 it added up to 50,000 units a month there. 30,000 was for wholesale and 20,000 for marketplace. Can you just talk to the metrics that you guys use in running this business, Mike? You've got these monthly units here. What are the units? How do I think about your volume in this business?
I mean, volume is somewhat consistent when it comes through standard channels like retail returns or off-lease equipment. Where your volume does spike a bit is deals that are available in the marketplace, which we are trying to think more in because we think that's a great growth opportunity. I apologize. What was the first part of your question?
The first part of the question is, these units, what are they? How do you measure your volume in this business? How would you describe, volume?
Yeah, we take a look at the mix. The laptops are probably the highest revenue and opportunity. Laptops are representing somewhere in the 10 to 15,000 units a month. Maybe a little more than that. Printers are the next largest. They are a little more concentrated on the inkjet printers. They're a little bit lower in revenue. And then you would round it out after the main two being laptops, printers. Then you get into monitors, you get into gaming equipment, you get into communications equipment. You mentioned Poly. So that's the main mix of product that we sell. And they really all sell through all marketplaces. Some of it depends on where the product is when it comes back in the life cycle. If it's a fairly newer product and still the technology is still viable in our market, we can put it through this marketplace. If the technology is older, it may have to go into a different market where there's still demand for the product. So those are some of the decisions that when they come in, we determine where our product is going to, which channel it's going to be sold.
I was under the impression that you guys get your main business is products that have been returned to store, but it sounds like there's an element of the business that is devices older than 30 days.
Yeah, so historically it has been retail returns has been a huge part of the business. As we become a certified partner, We want to go out and secure a product, not just through our partnership, but go out to the market and buy a product. Because as a certified partner, if we are able to procure that product on our own, we're able to refurbish it to certified specifications and sell that as a certified renewed product with the OEM warranty.
Okay, so what capabilities, what CapEx do you guys need to get you to where you've agreed to with HP?
Mark, do you have a CapEx figure that you put in for the next fiscal year? We're not going over financials.
So a lot of the CapEx, Larry, is in relation to the existing facilities. You'll see that it's the Mexicali facility that we're setting up that allows us. We said previously that it cost us up to $5 million to set up a new facility in totality. Obviously, we wouldn't spend all of that on day one, but over a period of time. But yeah, there's a couple $1 million in the budgets for next year in CapEx, and that will be funded out of working capital.
Okay, got it. And the Mexicali facility, let's kind of talk to the capacity of the existing business. So you're doing 50,000 units a month through your Kentucky and your Texas facilities. What does Mexicali do?
So nothing as of yet, but we expect to have it up and running in October. We do have a lot of capacity in our South Lake, Texas facility. We're only running like 1.5 shifts right now. So we can do, 2 to 3 times what we're doing there. But where you struggle is at the US labor rate, there are many devices that come back, especially when you're buying them on the spot market through tech companies that are beyond economic review, meaning that the labor costs you have to put in it doesn't work for the full quality repair refurbishment. And you have the much lower cost in Mexicali. It allows for that. So that's where I think you're going to see a lot of expansion in the Mexicali facility. And we're also expect to see some significant expansion in the refurbishing of off-lease product for HP. Many of these items are very, very large, and the transportation costs are going to be the biggest cost, not the labor, not the refurbishing. It's going to be the shipping. So we're likely going to divide the country up in half and have Kentucky handle our East Coast refurbishing and have Mexicali handle the West Coast.
Okay, interesting. So I'm hearing that you're describing a market where there's an opportunity to source, I'm not exactly sure where, source used devices that need refurbishment, but the cost to refurbish in the USA is too high. But you can refurbish and resell if you do it in Mexico.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So that would generally be through ITAD companies that have relationships with schools and businesses they've had for years. They're getting off-lease product, right? So they're getting products that's 3 to 5 years old that's coming back. Sometimes you could imagine product that you see businesses is probably a little better, but when you get products back from schools, they have a lot of physical damage. And physical repair is very labor intensive. That's something that doesn't make financial sense doing it in a US based operation. But it does, the numbers do work when you do it in a lower labor location like Mexicali.
Okay, just exploring that again. Is the margin similar on that stream of business through Mexicali as it is for the the 30-day-old business, the back to store business, return to store business?
I think there's going to be some learning on that one, but I think it could be because the market is going to demand you pay it's going to demand that you pay market price for what is expected to put into the product to get it into condition which can be resold. Okay? So I think that you're probably looking at much lower revenue, right? Because you're dealing with an older product, maybe an older technology versus a retail return, which is the newest technology. So lower revenue, but if you're asking about a percentage margin, I'm sure it'd be very comparable.
Okay, got that. I'll just pause here. I still have some questions I want to ask along those lines, but let me see if there's any questions from the floor here.
Don't see any hands raised. It's at the point.
Larry, could I just make a comment, if I may, please? You know, just that there's no other OEMs that are working with partners the way that we do at Close the Loop. I think the other OEMs do not back up their refurbished products, and we believe, HP believes, that the quality of the refurb provided by Close the Loop, and as part of our agreements, services a 1-year limited hardware warranty on all devices sold as HP certified refurbished product. So we are different and very significant in terms of the relationship that we have with HP. So I think we are ahead of the game. I think it's fair to say. I'm sure you would agree, Mike, right? From that perspective.
Yeah, that seems like an important point, Joe. I'm just wondering, are there other under your arrangement with HP? Is it exclusive, or are there other refurbishers that are operating with that same sort of certification?
From what we believe, not to the same level. So we're pretty unique from that perspective. And I think also, I mean, if you think about, I mean, we were talking about this earlier on, myself and Mike, with regards to talking about a refurbished model. I mean, other OEMs are obviously wanting to participate in a circularity contract. And the one thing we pointed out before, I mean, you know, our traditional closed loop business being active within the consumable, print consumable products, working with all the OEMs around the world, naturally for us, it would be an extension to work not just for the print consumables, but to work in the hardware. So printer refurbishment is something that's certainly a focus for other OEMs as well. Certainly trying to follow on the same tracks as to what HP have been doing for quite some time now.
That's a fair point.
You know, I don't know. I don't believe the original contract was meant to be exclusive, except I do believe we have exclusivity in a couple regions, correct? Over in the Middle East, I think. And then, although we don't know, there could be other partners that HP is bringing on, but I'm not aware of any yet. But I don't think the contract that we signed with them was exclusive, but being the first one out of the gate certainly creates a lot of opportunities and advantages. And I think we're really poised to realize those.
Fantastic. So as I think about just the last question on the Mexicali facility, Mike, you know, somewhat lower dollar profits per unit, but that off-lease market going through that facility, I really don't know. So I'm just going to ask, is that going to dwarf the return to store market, or is it a much smaller market? How should I think about that? Mexicali facility looks big. So
yeah, we're gonna go into that as stages. I think that let's just think about this. Right, historically, we've handled retail returns, right? So what percentage of laptops are being returned? 6%, 7%? What's happened to the other 94%? That's the available market. Now, we have to go out and find them, right? Because they're going to consumers, they're going to businesses, they're going to leasing companies. They're out there. So the additional opportunity is pretty massive. Not that it's easy. It's not just sitting out there ready to be taken. You've got to build the networks. You got to build the relationships. You've got to get purchasing team out there, building the relationships, buying the product, buying them at the right price. But yeah, we think there'd be some very, very significant growth in the refurbishing of used and off-lease equipment.
okay, and your 3-year agreement with HP, in what way does that cover? In what way does that cover the Mexicali facility? Maybe a better way to ask the question is, what does it actually cover, the 3-year agreement? Just to reiterate that.
What types of products for you to put in there? We're going to put all the inkjet printers into that facility. Inkjet printers are lower revenue, right? They sell lower revenue at retail. You've got to compete with the new product. And because of that, you cannot afford to put the high U.S. labor rates into inkjet printers. We're going to do any product that needs high touch, high repair. We're probably going to move all the inking equipment there. Monitors that aren't too large, that can be refurbished in Mexico with lower labor will go there. And then any high repair laptop, PC, other equipment is all going to go into that facility.
Oh, okay. What I was asking is, you've got a
Sure.
3-year agreement with HP.
Yep.
That kind of talks to margin sharing, revenue sharing arrangements. Does that cover what goes through the Mexicali facility as well?
I'm not sure what you're asking. I apologize.
Yeah. It does, Larry. I mean, it's the same product range. So if we decide to move, example, if we decide to move the, let's say, gaming accessories as a great example to the Mexicali facility, that obviously would be still under the contract. If we move laptop, we wouldn't, as an example. That would be the contract is for a number of items, and I don't think it's we have an issue with regards to where it's specified where the repair takes place or where the refurbishment rather takes place from that point of view. And I think that's really about the partnership that we've got with HP, where we sort of re-engage on a regular basis in terms of bringing on new verticals, new potential products that we want to bring on track. And hence the reason why Mexicali is quite an important plant for us, because not only do we want to bring on additional products through that plant, but also, as Mike said, look at trying to take some of the costs out, particularly on the high touch items, which needs a large degree of labor, so forth. So that to us is obviously quite important to be in that position, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think also, just to finish, sorry, Larry, is that the actual program itself, the HP Renew Certified program, is actually limited to a select number of partners globally. So this is not something that the HP have gone out and selected hundreds, tens, and 20s of partners. There's actually a limited number. And as Mike has alluded to earlier on, we've been very fortunate to be the first selected partner in this particular program for HP.
Absolutely.
I'll add, Joe, I know you said, you know, we can move products to different facilities. This is absolutely true. HP does visit our facilities and sign off and approve them to be further certified programs. And they're aware that, and they're excited that we want to expand into Mexicali, because they know that there are certain types of refurbishment that can happen in Mexicali that can't happen in the US. So they know about our excitement to move into the Mexicali market, and they're all behind it.
And thank you,
Great.
Mike, for that. And just if I may, Larry, sorry, just for clarity purposes, I don't think we should be confused between HP Incorporated and also HP Financial Services. Two different companies, and Larry, the two companies that you mentioned earlier on, which was obviously Andover and Eskim, they're actually facilities that they have in terms of working with HP products is actually the HP Enterprise Financial Services company. So they're very different to actual HP Incorporated. Just
Okay, and I'll expand on that. They're a leasing company, right?
Yeah.
And HPFS is a company that we have been working with, work with on a much greater scale, because they're bringing back really large volume of off-lease laptops. I'm sorry, off-lease laptops.
Okay, Michael, so let me see if I can understand what you're saying is, and Joe, HP Financial Services, is that how you described it? I didn't.
Yes. The official name is HP Enterprise Financial Services, which is a separate company, the HP Inc. Yes.
I see. Yep. And that is a leasing company, and
correct.
They have to deal with products coming off lease, which they service through their facility in Andover. And in what way are you discussing cooperation with them, Mike?
Yeah, they put out very high volume bids of products coming off lease. Various opportunities for us to secure that product, purchase it, bring it into our facilities, refurbish it, and remarket it as certified renewed.
Oh, okay, I see. So you might be able to source used machines of various types, laptops, printers, and refurbish it. Okay, excellent.
And Larry, this is really relating to one of the previous slides in terms of the difference between business and consumer electronic products. The business electronic products are the ones that are normally consumed within 2 to 3 years. And these are the ones that that Mike is talking about with regards to taking them off the leasing servicing companies, which is ideal from our point of view, to get our hands on these and get them refurbished and put them out under the certified program.
Yep. Okay. And when I look at this industry, and I'm not even sure it's such an amorphous industry at this stage to Australian investors, I believe, including me. You know, I uncover companies like Iron Mountain, let's say, and TESS, and they regard themselves as global leaders in IT asset disposition. And some of the capabilities that appear on their websites are things like particularly data security, auditing, and all sorts of controls, data, wiping data. Where do you guys do you guys have those capabilities? And how do you compare yourself to those very large companies?
We do have those capabilities, and I could say we're a competitor to them. They are larger, but the big advantage we have is that we're nimble. When our OEM partners need a quick, affordable solution, they can't go to companies like this. They just don't move fast enough. Their cost structure is completely different. They're a massive global organization. So we're continuing to see these opportunities are oftentimes coming to close the loop, and we seem to be winning many of them. So yeah, they compete with us, but I think as long as we stay quick and nimble and are efficient at what we do, I feel like we have a nice little advantage over them.
Is there a segment of the market like servers, from data centers that get retired? Is that a segment of the market that you're just not in and they're doing because they have those capabilities? You're quick and nimble in another segment of the market?
Yeah, I mean, we do servers, but not to a great volume. And I would say there's a couple of reasons for that. Historically, we've been focused on retail returns, like you said. If we want to get servers, we got to go to off lease, we got to get out to the market and bring them in. And then I do think that servers are going to require some some higher labor requirements, which again, potentially Mexicali could be a solution there. But certainly getting into servers could be a growth opportunity for us.
And I think, Larry, if the question was being posed at North America, that is obviously the case. But as you may be aware, in Australia, we are active with obviously data service at this moment.
Yeah. Okay, Warwick, I'm going to pause for questions. I don't see any hands at this stage, but maybe just pause for a little bit.
No worries. I don't see any hands up. Just to reiterate, if you would like to pose a question, hit the what's the button called? It's called a reaction button, and raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask your question.
Okay, I must be interrogating you guys to their satisfaction. So I guess another area I'm interested in, Joe and Mike, is what would sort of be strategic direction for the company? You've got now, it looks like, a large footprint for quite a bit of organic growth. Are there capabilities, geographies, product classes that you think you need to add on?
Larry, just if I ask Warwick to reverse a couple of slides in terms of our global opportunity slide, you can see where we've identified the regions that where we need to work and where we've got certain facilities already in place. As Mike alluded to earlier on, naturally, Canada and Mexico would be certainly, from our point of view, the next step in terms of expansion. The fact that we're based in Europe already with Belgium, we've already mentioned that we want to expand across Europe to handle the certainly the ITAD space and provide a solution for HP Renew. As we do want to do the same with APJ, not just in Australia, but obviously looking at Vietnam, China, Malaysia, and of course New Zealand as well. So we do have a degree of services that are in place directly and indirectly, and certainly some with partners as well. So from that point of view, Larry, the opportunities for expansion within the existing business into the space to support HP is phenomenal in terms of what we want to look at, and certainly identifying Europe and EMA as a starting point is really where we want to concentrate our efforts on, as we are doing with North America.
Okay, Joe, just
No,
so
I was
I
gonna
understand
add-
this. Sorry, Mike, just to interject. I just want to make sure we understand this chart. It's color coded, and I see the different states and geographies there. What do the colors mean? And is that something, is those capabilities you want or you have?
This was actually taken from an in-house document that we were actually working on. And,
Yes.
and essentially we were sort of plotting it in terms of our strategic plan on this color document in terms of what needed to be done by certainly what time, what sort of investment needed to take place, and in which region, which partner we had, which opportunity came about as a potential joint venture, which opportunity came about as a co-partner. So this was really our working document that we wanted to share with you without putting in the dots, particularly around each individual area. As you can understand, we can't really share that as yet until we move forward in those regions.
Okay, so these are the capabilities that you think you need for each of these regions. Some of them have check marks in them.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. As you can
Sorry,
appreciate.
Mike.
Oh, that's
Go
fine,
ahead.
Larry. I was just going to add, in conversations we've been having with our OEM partners, as they continue to look at circularity and sustainability, the one part of their model that they're not overly thrilled with, especially with a region like North America that is so vast and large, historically things have been centralized in the US, right? Canada collections come to the US. Things are serviced in the US. Recycling is done in the US. The OEMs are very excited to have Canada collection, refurbish, remarket, recycling. US collection, refurbish, recycling, remarketing, and Mexico recycling, refurbish, remarketing. They know that there's going to be a cost associated with that, right? If you're going to have different, multiple facilities in North America, there's going to be additional cost associated with that. When it comes to them and their ESG sustainability reporting numbers, it sounds like they're very excited and willing to invest into that area. And then one other thing that sort of came up in Canada is it's very challenging if you collect product in Canada where they have two languages, and then you try to remarket it in the US where we generally have one. So there's a big opportunity with that product, which historically has been going to end of life. It could be remarketed if we kept it within Quebec.
Yep. That's interesting. Okay, we do have a question, Mike. Thanks for that. From Simon Khan. Simon.
Thanks, Larry. Just a quick question,
You're
guys. I think you sort of maybe touched on it then, but I suppose just to understand, close the loops, competitive advantage in this sphere. Obviously, it's a nascent industry, but can you just sort of flesh out a bit about, is it the network or is it access to recycling technologies? Is there something, I suppose, from an investor point of view, that you can talk to your competitive advantage as to why you can win in this sector as opposed to others? And then maybe just an adjunct to that, obviously the carbon border adjustment tax comes in Europe soon, and then tariffs obviously potentially in the US. Does that have an impact on this business model?
Well, I'll add a little bit about the States. I think that historically Close the Loop has been a great OEM partner. Every time they come to us with any solution whatsoever, we solve it, we do it affordably, we do it efficiently, and we're constantly looking at opportunities to take costs out of their process, or produce a better product for them or a better end result. And I think that long-term partnership and delivery, right? We've constantly delivered, goes such a long way with the OEMs, because the OEMs are really big. And if you think about what they're doing with us, it's very, very small. They can't risk it. Okay. They have to have a partner that they can trust. It's going to do it right. That's going to make sure that their products are recycled properly, they're marketed properly. So I think that's an advantage that we have, the history we have with them of always performing, if that makes sense.
Yep. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Simon. I suppose while we're on that topic, HP has chosen you guys, which is great. Is HP comfortable with perhaps you working with other OEMs through the same facilities that you currently have? How does that work, Joe? Are you allowed to do that under the arrangements?
Yep. In fact, we just go back to the traditional business, which was the close the loop print consumables, and we work with a number of, well, all the OEMs, in fact, across the world. So that has never been an issue. But of course, out of respect for HP, of course, we wouldn't process other OEM products on the same line. In fact, we would prefer to have a maybe a separate facility to process other OEMs, and that is available, or a separate production line is a great example. So that has been a discussion that we've had with HP going back at the time we started the process off to ensure that there was respect for our largest client and understand what their concerns could be around processing other OEM products.
Yeah, Closed Loop's done a fantastic job of creating a network effect in printed cartridge recycling in Europe and Australia. How do you see this playing out in laptops and electronics? I guess is a bit of a Dorothy Dixer, as we say here in Australia, Joe. But is that something that you sort of think is possible, or miles away from that?
So if I understand your question is, we've rolled out obviously print consumables across America, Europe, and Australia. Is that going to be the same for laptops? Is that correct, Larry?
Yeah.
And the answer has to be, of course, yes. I mean, we did mention at the last announcement that we want to take the model that we have in North America and look moving forward into the iPad space. As Mike spoke about, the 2-year-old, 3-year-old laptops is a great example. Start working in Europe, start working in the Middle East, and certainly start working in Africa and Australia in that model as well. And of course, the reason why we want to do that is we want to provide a service to HP Renew Solutions. That is one of our main goals. And we have got the capability, and certainly from an expansion perspective, isn't the most natural next step for our closed loop.
Okay, we have a few more minutes left, but I just want to dwell on this. Sorry if we go over a little bit. One of the concerns of investors, Joe, as you know, is the dependency upon HP as a very large client, which is pluses and minuses, and we discussed this. But I guess, Mike, I might ask you, particularly in North America, do you have initiatives to develop relationships with other OEMs to use your existing facilities, as Joe says, new lines? Is that something that's tangible, real? You have people assigned to it today?
Absolutely. And the low-hanging fruit is the relationship we have with the imaging OEMs, and and we are in the process right now of having discussions and sending out RFQs for refurbishing and remarketing of their printers. So that's the first step.
Right.
The next one would be to get into those. I think we said HP, Dell, and Lenovo represented 60% of the market. So clearly, Dell and Lenovo are companies we want to go after. I don't know if the better relationship with them is direct or through ITAD. We know what it's like with HP because we've been with them for so long. With Dell and Lenovo, we have to figure that one out. But if you can refurbish an HP laptop, you should be able to refurbish a Dell laptop. It shouldn't matter. So yes, we definitely have initiatives to grow our laptop refurbishing and expand our range into other OEMs.
Fantastic. Joe, maybe you want to make some concluding remarks. It's about an hour, so yeah, please do so.
No, thank you very much. And maybe just to add on to that last comment, I mean, I think as I mentioned earlier on, the one thing that we're very delighted about to be partnering with HP is that this particular program, as I said earlier on, is limited to only a select number of partners. So from that point of view, we are truly sort of grateful for this great opportunity, and we want to make this a great success around circularity, because it's part of our message and it's part of what we believe as a business, and hence the reason why we've rebranded, about having one common message from all the different business units. If you break the business down, what do? We collect today and we create tomorrow. And that's what we do with regards to consumer electronics, business electronics, print consumables, and so forth. And that's where we want to be in the future. So, Larry, to you and the team at Shaw Partners, we're very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.